really shown, though. It was getting timely picks. It was landing his charms, not being the aggressor, but rather just punishing slight oversteps by Red. Envy's one of the best mid laners in Brazil. Expect him to do more of the same here. Again, more well-rounded composition. You've got some decent, it's okay team fighting. Red's going to be better on that front, but yeah, Ranger on Rumble here for all the marbles. Jojo back on Renata. Some run backs. We'll see. Like you said, Guigo's got a pretty safe lane up there. Sion is a brutal champion to try to take advantage of because you can't really. Numerically, maybe, but it's so hard to actually feel those effects because he can just sit there and scale up.
Yeah, exactly. And that scaling is going to be an issue. Now, Red's composition, very, very straightforward. It's just a nice, simple team fighting composition. So that at least is going to be good for Furia. Hello. Greftar's flash already down from that here. But yes, Red, you know what they're going to do. So it's up to Furia to really respond to it. They have a lot of champions with individual agency. You pick that Graves because of that. You pick the Ahri because of that. And Xayah, as an AD carry, is one of the most mobile, safest AD carries with that Featherstorm here. So it's up to them to really outplay Red's team fighting here. And one of the things they can look to actually try and do is if your Graves does get accelerated far enough, if your enemy Sion gets put far back enough, then FNB gets split push as a potential win con. But if you don't do that, then suddenly it's just about mostly Envy and Natuno. Specifically, can Natuno survive and how well can Envy kite? If Envy gets hit by any CC at all, with a Victor, with an Aphelios, the amount of burst damage mid to late is absolutely disgusting. You can 100-0 any squishies that you catch.
Yeah. No, he's going to get absolutely fried. Yeah, the picker becomes the picked really quick here. That flash went down on Greftar, like we were saying. I was looking at that mid-jungle. Greftar, he's a professional. I imagine he's going to play safer. He's not going to do anything too dumb here, but Ranger's early game is his strength. If anyone can find creative pathing to punish Greftar, it's going to be him.
Yeah, and, but on a Rumble though, I just don't.
Yeah,
Rumble early ganks are kind of a weird thing because the electric harpoons do a lot of slow damage. So if you overextend, they are very punishing. But if Greftar doesn't shove out, then I just don't see any gank potential for this Rumble till you're level 6. So for Ranger here, it's that choice you want to make. And I know if I were Ranger, I'd just go for the power farm. I'd go for that reliable level 6 until my lane say play safe instead, because Aegis is probably going to be looking for the ganks, needs to get that impact early as a J4.
Yeah, the shoe's on the other foot here. This is thematically different from what Aegis has had to do. He had to get creative in game 2 because Ranger on Viego really punished him, set him back, and he did all right, all things considered, honestly. But we were talking about it off cast, and then we mentioned in game 2, oh man, this is just what the doctor did not order. Ranger flashes forward. The charm doesn't land. Flashing forward here. One more auto will do it. It was a lot blown there. Mid-jungle, both lost their flash, but first blood does go to Envy.
Furia missed everything. All the skill shots. If the first electric harpoon had landed, there was no need to flash. But because it didn't, charm missed, electric harpoon missed, and I wasn't even confident that they were going to get the last hit there. Bot side?
Jojo out of trouble. He is ignited. Titan blew his heal, but he still got his flash. Yeah, after that, all nothing.
Jojo took a lot of damage there, though, and it's a bit of a shoe on the other foot situation because we think back to game 1 with that Renata there when Jojo picked up 5 kills, 3 of them in lane there, and it was Jojo being the aggressor, constantly poking and harassing. This time, I guess that's why Redbird chooses this Nautilus. I personally think Leona is a better Nautilus in general, but Redbird just looks more comfortable on this Nautilus and certainly punishing for now. Now, Ranger, just going back to that power farm again in the jungle. And Aegis so far is the one I'm actually looking at to make something happen. We saw Rangers gank. We've not seen Aegis do anything. And if you pick a J4, you sure as hell don't pick it to power farm.
No. Yeah, we're talking about it a little bit, and I think it was game either 1 or 2 that, look, his farming is fine. You can't do anything in the jungle unless you have half-decent clear, and you would rather power farm than take inefficient paths to gank, but yes, that is absolutely your priority. And look, if Redbird, like you said, he looks comfortable on this. Maybe in Natuno push up a little too far. Jojo can lay down some CC and help make it just basically a guaranteed 1-2 punch for Aegis. Maybe you start to snowball that lane. We saw what Titan was able to do with some early kills. I mean, yeah, it took a while, but eventually Red did win that game. But yeah, Grefthar punished early for not having his flash. That's going to be back up soon. Again, Ranger and Envy, they don't have flashes either. I don't think you're going to see Ranger show his face around a lane for a while here. Because like you said, those early ganks are really, really awkward for a Rumble.
I'm just kind of curious about how these lane states are going. Because normally we've got Graves, FNB pushing on that top side. He's got that prio. But Grefthar perma pushing in the mid lane just feels so risky. I actually expected it to be the opposite, where Envy should have priority here. Ooh, Ranger gets spotted.
There goes that Electro Harpoon, lands the slow, but the Gravity Field and the nice dodge on the Charm keeps him alive. Grefthar, there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, and my man is towing it.
We say that now because he didn't die, but what was that, a minute, 2 minutes ago?
Yep.
I'm not sold on that one yet. We'll have to see how it goes. But yes, that was why I'm surprised that Grefthar is just getting perma push in the mid lane right now. And I think that has to do more with Envy partially not wanting to push out the lane, hasn't been throwing those Qs out into the wave, instead always positioning it to only hit Grefthar there. And it's allowed Ranger to look for these repeat ganks into the mid lane, and it's actually hurting Aegis quite a bit because Aegis doesn't have a lane to gank. Your bot, your mid are all shoved out, and your top lane, the one lane you can gank, doesn't have enough damage to kill Graves. So Rid not playing to this early jungle win con.
No, not quite. And now they found themselves 1,000 gold down. Just a combination of a CS discrepancy, the kills. No turret plates have gone down yet, I don't think. But actually, 1,000 is more than I thought, just kind of on first glance here. But
yeah.
Oh, Redbird right over the wall. He's going to hook Jojo. The chain CC. Envy. Good.
Okay.
Nice. Sweet Prince. Jojo, he bails himself out. Is it enough? No. Titan doesn't have enough time to lay down the damage he needs. Grefthar on the chase now. One more auto will do it. And there he goes. It's
Did they overchase?
From the Q. Did they overchase? That is the question. Here comes Natuno finally.
Oh!
Aegis doesn't have Spirit Rush. Envy finally getting out of there. Excuse me. Envy did have Spirit Rush. Aegis doesn't have level 6. Grefthar not able to get the combo that he wanted. Early cooldowns are just too high.
Forward, did you see that flash to reposition the knockup from Aegis? I have not seen that particular interaction before, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out with the kill onto Envy. And when all said and done, Furia, with that, I want to say hyper-aggressive play from Ridford, end up walking away with a bigger lead once again here. And for Furia, I'm actually surprised they went for this. They don't really have good vision. They don't know who might be joining in, and I guess they just tracked that, hey, Greftar's mid, Aegis is bot. We can do this. And this really should have gone so much worse for Furia. And this that interaction I want to talk about here. That flash, that was weird as all hell. And
the heck?
The fact that Envy still got out was criminal. It's absolutely massive for Furia, but it's criminal.
So what? I guess like it calculated that, okay, he got the EQ, and so wherever the model, the champion model goes, is what will get knocked up. So he flashed mid. I didn't even know you could flash mid EQ.
I didn't either.
Seems like such a small window, right? You've seen EQ flash Cataclysm or something like that. But that was wild because he was just, because he was the object that was knocking something up. And he decided to flash forward. He said, all right, cool. I'm in knockup mode. I'm going to go a different direction. Wow, that's crazy. The more I think about it, the more that gets me excited. Wow. All right. Whether intentional or not, that was cool as hell. All right. Herald started up here. Hook not going to land from Redbird. There he goes. Unstoppable Force. Guigo right over Ranger. Some trouble here. Flashes away. Equalizer in a choke point is a bit of a death sentence. Jojo getting chunked down here, but the Chaos Storm right into the checkpoint, or choke point, excuse me, as well is good damage from Grefthar. Envy over the wall with the Spirit Rush, trying to get the resets. He's got the Charm back up soon, but can't quite find the window that he wants. Both teams playing this fight very carefully, and now with 5 members, but 2.5 health bars, all things considered, now they will restart the Herald. Do Furia try to trade? Do they contest? Red baiting this fighting. We've seen this before, waiting in that pixel brush. There goes the hook. It lands there onto Grefthar, throws down the gravity field, and it's enough to take down Redbird. Titan is free firing. Down goes Grefthar, and trading kills back and forth are, Titan and Ranger. Herald, just Shelly getting a free show here. Who's going to pick it up? I think it is, in fact, Red. Feathers are flying. The Feather Storm means that Natuno's going to pick up his first kill of the game.
Well, 4x4. We're back to these close bangers again. None of this slow early game nonsense here. And for a second, when I watched that fight, I thought, okay, Fury are going to play this LCK. They recognize they've lost the fight. They're going to disengage. But nope, who am I kidding? This ain't LCK. This is CBLOL. And Redbird, he's just so willing to throw himself into the madness here, and it works because they have the better AoE. Sure, Ranger does go down, so they can't secure the Herald whatsoever, but that Flame Spitter was just going off the entire time, and Envy, that wasn't a Spirit Rush. Envy actually flashed in to get the charm, and as many charms as he's been missing in lane here, that was critical. That gets them the kill, and that makes sure that even if Herald gets 2 plates, Furia are still in a comfortable spot, will still maintain their lead.
Redbird does look comfortable on this Nautilus. You can tell, like you said, that aggression. How is that up again? The equalizer goes down almost immediately. The bailout is up. Titan not going to get the revive here as the hostile takeover really only just... I guess it kind of did bail out JoJo there. It could have been much worse there. But wow, Ranger just on cooldown with that with that equalizer.
And that's why Ranger still plays this pick. Despite it not being meta, despite nobody else really picking this right now, Ranger will do it because he's comfortable. He knows his cooldowns, and this was why Rumble was so powerful in the past. The cooldown, the ult's fairly low. It gets lower as well when you hit those critical levels, level 11, level 16, and they know how to play around it so well. They're calling Ripbird in. Every time that hook lands, they full up. FNB has to flash.
FNB no flash. Guigo no ult for Aegis. No problem. FNB making sure they don't have a wave to dive with. Here comes Titan. Here comes JoJo. It's a 4v1, maybe a 4v2. Calling up Redbird. In a similar situation like you were alluding to, Aegis, looking for the EQ, looking to get value out of this. But the longer this goes on, the more members of Furia can show up to try to make some noise. Redbird gets the hook. He flashes out immediately. Doesn't have the depth. He blew the depth charge, flashed away. Now, Red, they've got the beat onto FNB, but the equalizer comes down. Ranger has 4 kills, guys. He might get another. Titan actually walks away with the kill out of FNB. Guigo does go down as a result. Envy has got himself 3 kills. The carries are fed on either side here, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. It was a stalled out dive that didn't get the result that they wanted.
Can't believe Aegis survived that as well. Aegis should have been dead to rights. And like you said, Furia, they bought enough time here for everybody to come back up. That Rumble ultimate in such a low cooldown, and that was a 4v5 the entire time that happened. Natuno just split pushing bot, and this is, I think, the first time this series we're seeing Natuno get a leg up over Teton in lane.
Yeah. He's got himself grabbed the Eclipse, and he's on that Muramana grind. He is halfway there, and in terms of items, it's more or less equal, right? The tier doesn't do anything for you right now, but yeah, if you're equal in power, and you're down 2 kills, and you sacked 800 gold into a tier, you're feeling really good about that.
Yeah, and that's without the other pressures that might show up, without Envy having usually first move advantage, having better dive potential, and Ranger 4-1 and 4 right now, 100% kill participation. And sure enough, Ranger's looking at the bot side, ult's back up as well.
Man. Yeah, and the ticking damage will probably be enough for Titan. He throws out the Moonlight Vigil at the last second, gets a lot of healing. There goes the bailout as well, but the root with the Everfrost plus the charm is just too much. Locked down 80 carry is a dead 80 carry.
That was such a brute force play there. Herald being dropped into the mid lane, though, by Aegis after he picked it up earlier. And with Greftar here, can they take the turret? I actually don't think they can.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, the cannon minute isn't going to be enough. They get it down to hanging on by the skin of its teeth. But Envy should be able to clear that wave. That's turret play gold. Look, that's not nothing. But the lead here is starting to balloon. Or Furia, be it solo turret play gold on Natuno, be it a suboptimal Herald usage, be it a suboptimal dive, and Furia just mopping up some skirmishes and getting some picks. They're slowly chipping away here. RMC in game 2, you said, give me a 3,000 gold lead by 15 minutes. In game 3, we didn't get that. In game 2, Furia won. In game 3, Furia did not. Now, this is a bit apples and oranges here, but Furia in a really nice spot here. I say all that to say.
Yeah, no, definitely. But hey, a 3k gold lead for any team at 15 minutes is good. The reason why it had to be in that case was because you had a Caitlyn. If you can do it without a Caitlyn, with a better scaling composition, power to you, 4x4. And Furia, the scariest part to me isn't the gold lead that they currently have. It's how fast I expect it to continue growing. Ranger, every time that out has been on cooldown, has been looking to make a play. And now that they got bot side, top and mid are not safe. And we said this before in draft. Red's team has no mobility. Whenever the red carpet gets laid down, they have no choice but to walk at least a portion of it.
Yep. Well said. Yeah, no, all their mobility is going forward, right? I mean, Titan's got his Gale Force, yes, but like you said, you're going to take a little bit of that Grefthar, able to sidestep the charm, but he gets eaten alive by the Everfrost. There goes the Renata Olds. Oh, one day I'll get it. Hostile takeover. There we go. But Redbird laying down the CC. Aegis can only watch. But Guigo has shown up, and now they did that entire fight without Titan. He's Gale Forcing forward. He's going to pick up the scraps here, make that 2 kills. Ooh, did he have Flash? Maybe flashing forward. No. If he did have Flash, you can bet your bottom and top dollars he would have flashed over and picked up that kill onto Envy there. But a tower taken down here by Furia. Red, they come away they come away winners in a fight that Furia started.
Yeah, but let's keep in mind the circumstances for Furia doing this here. This is a 4v5 under turret. Granted, it doesn't start as a 4v5, but it certainly buys enough time here. And they're doing this between turrets, and they still come out ahead because they take that top side. Now, the biggest problem, of course, is that we've touched on the hostile takeover before. The fact that it's slow-moving projectile, and the range doesn't fully cover the lane. But when you're diving between turrets like that, Furia just had no angles to play, right? One angle, you're tanking turret shots. Another, you get hit by hostile takeover. They hesitate. It's even worse. And that's why they end up losing 2-4-3. And now the question is, can Red capitalize on that here? They won that fight, but they lost turrets, so they lost in gold. They're getting this Herald for free now. And Furia, I would love to see them trying to get that mid prio, just pushing hard and taking that turret, or at least doing as much damage as possible to it.
Yeah, you got to do something here. The objective bounties are up. That can help you get back in this game, certainly. They can sneak up on you. Turbo Chem Tank here for Aegis. Don't see it super often on Jarvan, but you certainly understand the thinking behind it. Up 2-0 now on the Dragons are Furia, but in response, that's a top lane turret. So it wasn't mid, like you said, but immediately pulled the trigger. Whether they knew that Furia were down there taking Dragons or not, they said, look, we don't see him in lanes. We don't see him on the top side of the map, which we've got completely lit up by wards. Odds are they're taking that dragon. Let's send it top.
Yeah, because that dragon was taken, like you said, the moment they see that go down, they know where they need to do. And Red actually somewhat closed the gold gap a bit. They're only about 3,000 down. Yeah, compared. Hey, 3,000 at 15 minutes, right? That was the benchmark here, and they're pretty much there. Now, I do want to highlight some item selection choices. You talked about the Chem Tank there for Aegis, but the Night Harvester for Ranger here. Generally, Rumbles have 2 options, either that or the Proto Belt. And we saw Proto Belt be sort of the mythic of choice for a while there because it gives you more magic penetration. What Night Harvester gives you is reduced cooldowns, more ability haste. And that tells me Ranger wants to continue being the aggressor, making these plays 5-2 and 5 here, only missing out on 1 kill all game for Furia thus far. And if you're going to build that Night Harvester, I want to see Ranger continuing to be aggressive, looking actively for these gangs here instead of just power farming in the jungle.
Yeah, no, that's what he's got to do. You don't get 5 kills on a Rumble and then just rest, right? He is so far ahead of Aegis right now, and you saw what that Equalizer was able to do. I mean, if he can lay that down in pretty much every single fight, then there are very few fights that they shouldn't have at least a leg up in. That's all you can do, really. It's such a brutal position as a Fed jungler who's ahead. All that perma CC there onto Aegis. Featherstorm down as well. He's going to jump on a Natuno. Going to get bailed out here. There goes the hostile takeover. Natuno's going to throw a couple autos there onto Ranger. Means he's going to get out of trouble. Get Red Titan flashing forward. A couple more autos there. Chewing right through F&B. He does go down. Oh! Might have been enough to set up his team for the kill. Ranger trying to get back in this fight. But Guigo and company have the numbers advantage. Envy isn't able to land the charm. How is JoJo still alive? Shut down for Grefthar.
4x4. It's the way the fight starts. We keep harping on Rangers being the big critical carry, but in that fight, the red carpet didn't land. And the moment that big ultimate was down, it felt like Red were able to come back, bounce back, find a fight to get multiple kills. And sure, Teton went down fairly early, but Grefthar is putting out a surprising amount of damage, surprisingly consistent amounts of damage in this fight as well. And suddenly that gold lead's evaporating. Red is starting to come back online here. And for Furia, your power spike is in the mid game. Ranger at 2 items, that's peak Rumble. After that, it just goes downhill.
Yeah, it's like you alluded to this kind of hot pot comp, right? Ranger, equal levels. The equalizer does go down. Big gravity field, but it's not enough. Shutdown there for Ranger. That felt personal. I don't know about you, but that felt like it had a little extra something behind it. But go back to what I was saying before, right? Grefthar, yes, it's not. I guess maybe it's a bit of a flawed thing now that I think about it, but any fight in a choke point, that is going to be more likely where Ranger's going to throw down the equalizer. Conversely, like, even if Aegis's ults are going to be kind of kamikaze, because, like you said, you're just going to get hot potted and stuff. You can hold down one person for a chaos storm to just shred right through people.
True.
And Landers isn't getting a ton of value in this team, but that's just kind of what you do as Victor, right? The rest of the items are going to come through pretty quick. I think he's got a Shadow Flame. That's certainly going to help. We've seen this before from him. Yeah, Victors can lay down that sneaky damage.
Sure. And the reason why I didn't think it was going to be that big a deal was because Furia is generally quite mobile. Only Ranger and Redbird don't have ways to get out. But it's been working right now. And maybe it's just the burst damage that's coming out as well. The moment of silence is messing up Furia. And the fights have not been playing out the way I expected. I mean, Red have that front to back style composition. They haven't played it that way. In fact, they've looked best when they're coming in from multiple angles, where Teton and Greftar don't necessarily have peel, but they're able to do things on their own. And it's Furia who haven't been looking for the flanks. They've kind of just been brute forcing it from the front, and it works when you're ahead. My fear is that how much longer can you do this? We're back at the dragon here. Ults back up for everyone ready to go. So there's better than even odds right now 4x4 that we're just going to get them slamming their heads into each other, and it's just going to be who's got better mechanics, who's able to better position the beginning of these fights.
Guigo, Netuno has to feather storm out, ult up for almost everyone. That's a big ult that's not going to be available. And with all that mobility, Gale Force isn't a priority item for a Xayah, which obviously makes a ton of sense. But right now, that's really, really big. Still, the equalizers are up. Envy looking for a flank. Greftar dumps everything onto him. Aegis goes into the back line. Netuno gets out of dodge, but Guigo is right on him. And there goes the hostile takeover. Netuno's alive, but he might have killed Ranger. He's surviving for a long time. Titan is laying down the DPS, though, pretty much for free. Moonlight Vigil not going to land, but they have scattered Furia to the winds, and they will take their first dragon as a result.
Red keeps seemingly finding wins, but they shouldn't. Oh, Redbird. Oh, he could pull.
Yoink. All right. Wow. Yeah, Red keep on finding wins. Is that an ace? They get everybody? No, they didn't. Okay.
I know. No, Netuno lived. Yeah. Netuno had to blow flash and heal. But he lived. It's not quite an ace, but it might as well be for what Rid are able to find off the back end of this. And I respect what Furia is doing. We were talking about the fact that they weren't flanking. They finally decided to go for that flank with Envy, and it backfired horrifically. Once again, the Ranger Rumble Ultimate didn't find anybody. Instead, it was the hostile takeover once again, just splitting everybody from Furia. It really isn't about the ability to make your team attack itself with that hostile takeover for Red right now. It's the zone control. It's the ability to push everybody apart beyond what Furia want to do. Yes, you want to flank, but you still need one particular front to play off of. And right now, that front's crumbling every time the Renata ult comes down.
Yeah, it is a slow-moving projectile, but even on the fight where it was by the kind of like on blue side between mid tier 1 and tier 2, where Greftar got picked by Envy. He just dove in and burned everything on him, and Jojo threw out the hostile takeover from not even the chicken camp. It was like from like behind that first brush, and it went all the way to the mid tier 1, barely, but it was able to grab a couple people. It didn't really do anything. The fight was kind of F from Jump Street, but it was the Rangers tremendous. Redbird didn't even. I think Aegis thought he was going to connect on that. Maybe didn't try to punish, and maybe the better for it, to be fair, because Envy has everything up. Here comes Guigo. Boop, boop. Redbird is going to hit that hook though onto the turret stump, and nothing doing. But again, that's another big ult from Guigo that's going to be back up in about 2 seconds flat.
This is kind of BM to say, but I'm going to say it. Watching the last two games, I'm glad Gigo chose League of Legends and not a race driver as his primary job here, because those are supple onslaughts. Not been too good there. He does get mid, I guess, and then immediately has to go back bot to deal with FNB for now. And both these teams back to this holding action. It feels like it's all about the objectives now, and both teams really want a team fight. They aren't feeling comfortable trying to take these turrets. Ranger?
Aegis in. Ranger throws out the ultimate. It lights up Titan, but he's able to get the Moonlight Vigil off. The hostile takeover, again, up in what seems like 3 seconds. Up every single fight. Finds a little bit, but not really anything significant. But they take them out of the river. No objectives to really go grab. But at this point, any sort of pick you can find, with Ranger being as ahead as he is and being kind of suboptimal with a couple of these recent equalizers, a bit of a victory.
Yeah, and this is Rangers Power Spike, right? We said 2 items. That's it. After this, yes, Rumble will continue to scale up, but at a much, much slower rate. The curve flattens out. And we also said the Cataclysm for Aegis, right? There's a lot of people with mobility, but Ranger and Ridbird are the two without mobility, and Aegis has done a great job so far this game, constantly punishing them. Once again, on that particular catch, both Ranger and Ridbird had to blow Flash. They won't have it available for the next Cataclysm, and Aegis can look for that window, look for that punish, and Ranger in particular is critical because he's the jungler, he's the one with Smite.
FNB is going to be seeing Guigo in his nightmares. He's having, I mean, this top lane slapfest of Guigo just playing these tilting tanks and Gnar, and FNB doing his darndest on a champion with carry potential. He goes, I can't believe I'm stuck in the side lane just answering this stupid meatball. Red right now very much feels like on the front foot. Aegis had a bit of a tough, slow start to this game, compounded by the fact that Ranger went absolutely ballistic early on. But 0-11 as a Jarvan? Oh my gosh. Give it to me. That is exactly what you want to see.
Well, the fire that burns twice as bright here 4x4 also burns twice as quick. And unfortunately for Ranger, it feels like he's starting to peter out quite a bit. Also, with regards to FNB doesn't have the right to complain about it. He picked the Graves into the Sion matchup.
True. No, that's fair. Oh, Redbird just on the edge of the gravity field is going to try to lay down some CC before he goes, but isn't quite able to. There goes a very good equalizer, and now Aegis might be on death's door here. Is able to get out of trouble, but the numbers advantage might be too much for Furia to overcome. They disengage. FNB looking for a flank, but it's too little too late. Guigo, he's not going to do anything. Yeah, Dragon up now in 30 seconds. And that's that could be that second Dragon. Couple of Ocean Drakes stacking up. Feels really, really good.
Yeah, especially, when you're into a team with a Rumble there, it actually allows you to ignore a significant chunk of that Rumble equalizer damage coming through. Now, they force the out of Ranger here. FNB might get Dove as well.
He might not even get Dove. He might just get solo killed. FNB's doing his darndest with the Immortal Shield Bow. It's going to buy him a little bit of time. But Aegis, he's going to take someone down with him? Man, okay, that was a little trickier than I thought it was going to be. FNB played that out well, all things considered, but there's nothing really his team could do about it. I mean, while that was down there, the mid-tier 2 was going down. Redbird's getting picked. It's all going sideways for Super Furia right now.
Well, Ultimate, they split Teton and JoJo.
Yeah, let's see here. JoJo gets absolutely melted. Titans winning the 1v1. I can hear him shrieking from North America. He is popping off right now, getting that solo bolo there as his support went down. Titans feeling good. He's 9-5-4. And that brief advantage that we saw Natuno get early on has all but evaporated.
It's the mental 4x4. Furia's mental just isn't resilient enough, and Red's surprisingly is. That's multiple turrets, multiple kills, and Dragon picked up as well for Red. What did Furia get on the back end of that? Congrats, you killed JoJo. Was it worth it? Hell to the nah right now. And with Baron being on the table, the scary part is Red is starting to ramp up. It's scaling up. Teton now with Infinity Edge completed as well. Yeah. Already beats Natuno in that 1v1, but now I don't think there's anybody on Furia who can really handle it. You've got to land that critical equalizer for Ranger, and now it's not just about the equalizer. You need to lock them down in place long enough. So Ranger and Redbird have to get the perfect combination off in tandem.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough. Redbird, look, he's been good on this Nautilus, but everything that has been going well for Furia has started to peter out, be it Rumble's scaling, or Ranger's impact on the game, or the equalize that he's been able to hit. And credit Red, they've become wiser to kind of what to avoid and what not to. They become smarter about how they want to play these fights. Redbird is dead meat. Look, he was good in the early game, but he's gotten picked twice to pretty unfortunate locations.
Yeah, it's the same location where he got picked the last time, in that spot, and it's the old support. I'm just Warden. Yeah, well, you also died. Now, FNB, once again, we see this every single time with FNB right now. He's got to be cursing and swearing. His team's just dying around him. He's desperately trying to make up for it. Grefthar!
Like a stopwatch might have saved his life. Yeah,
I
think he was toast with the burn. Equalizer over the wall. That still hurts really, really bad. Man, just throwing Moonlight Vigil and then the hostile takeover. Natuno's able to dodge it, but he's not able to do anything else with it. Just zoning out with those ultimates. And Red Canids able to pick up the Baron, ready to start their first big push to try to put the nail in the coffin of Super Furia, who, if they lose here, they will have gone 0-2 as far as playoff series are concerned. No playoff wins if they go down here.
Not only that, but I'm just thinking back to the fact that, we mentioned 3/5, 60% of this team was 2021 Flamenco. 2021 Flamenco too, who struggled in the playoffs. They never made it past those quarterfinals, and they get there mostly through seeding. So it is definitely an issue for this team if they're starting to look like playoff chokers, that they can't get their wins when it matters here. And to me, the other problem too is that when I see FNB split pushing this hard, even back when he was on Vorax Liberty, this is what happens when FNB stops trusting his team. It's a desperation play coming through. And right now, I don't fault him for it. The team is really struggling to get anything done. Even now, everybody's on Gigo while a baroned up team is pushing down mid. Hello? Who's responding to this?
Yeah, Guigo's not who you want to chase. FNB's trying to play hero ball, and now he's going to get punished for it. I'd be tilted off the face of the earth if I was him, not able to get anything done. Titan gets his 11th kill. My guy's closing in on 25 kills these last 2 games. They are knocking on the door. Yes, Furia are getting picked left and right, but give Red credit here. Look, Furia are falling apart, but for every throw, there's a catch. Red, with these incremental advantages that they have been getting, they just invade. They flood the enemy jungle. So I criticize Redbird for getting picked. Sure, you got to know a little better than that. You got to play safer than that. But not every team will step on the gas on picks like this, like Red will do.
Yeah, agreed. We saw it in the previous games. Red wasn't able to capitalize quite the same way, but this time they just rotate everywhere faster. And look at this split push. Furia is just running from lane to lane, trying to put out fires here. But the embers keep flaring up the moment they're gone. Gigo still pushing bot side. Redbird. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to die again.
Yeah, he landed a root there onto Ranger. That feels so bad. Yeah, no, they're just slowly and methodically pushing this down now. Furia have not gotten a moment to breathe. Even me as a play-by-play, right? I'm like, at any moment, this game could explode and Red could win. I haven't really given you a chance to just kind of go off and wax lyrical about X, Y, or Z because there hasn't been that opportunity because Red are playing death by 1,000 cuts right now.
I mean, for me to wax lyrical, I need like 10 minutes right now because Red are just so clean with the way they're just doing everything right here. And even now, you see that 3-1-1 split push here. All of them are playing it so well. Greftar is vulnerable. I mean, if Furia could just focus him for a second, but Teton, Jojo, and Aegis are never letting them do that. And the disengage. Hostile takeover is already down, but they're still playing the disengage so well. And look at this. Furia losing all 3 inhibs simultaneously.
And Guigo can get over to the top lane in a hurry. Envy has to flash away. Big dunk there from Guigo. And here comes Greftar with the not so sneaky anymore damage. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Aegis helps his mid laner lock up another kill. Titan's got kill number 12. And this one is about to be curtains. Unless Natuno has a miracle play left in him. Red Canids knocking on the door. A win away from loser bracket final.
Aegis.
Titan starts hollering. Furia are silent. The super team goes down in back-to-back best of 5s. When it mattered most, they couldn't come up clutch. Red, the defending champions, overcoming some adversity in Game 3. They take the series over Super Furia 3-1.
Look at Teton's face right there. He is laughing his head off. They are excited. They are happy. And I'm getting flashbacks to 2021 summer split here 4x4. No one believed